Hey there guys, it's Sam, and today I have a brand new video for you. Now, this is sort of one of two videos that are going to be coming out addressing patches. Now, my other video that's in the works right now is for the Foch 155 French Tier 10 TD. But this, as you may have guessed, is about the Lowe or Lowe in 9.17. Now, if you're not sure why I put 9.17 there, it's because the Lowe got some pretty phenomenal buffs. Now, like usual, I'll have some words on the screen that is going to make it a lot easier if you do read, but there'll be some freestyling going on them as well, so don't worry, it won't just be narration. "9.17 created viable life." Now, what I mean by this is that traditionally German heavies, even some of the mediums if we're honest, are slow, easy to brew up, not that great. This makes the changes to the Lowe that much more exciting. So if you're a try-hard or die-hard, as you may prefer, German tanker, you should be excited. One quick note here, guys. Nominal stats, what I mean by that is the hard numbers listed in game. Things like traverse speed, reload. Alright? That'll help you if you're reading any of my other infographics or if you're in fact just listening to another video where I reference it, because it comes up pretty darn often. Now, depression here is a massive shift. It's a 25% change for the better. That itself is probably worth getting excited about. Now, mi amour, or for tanks, mi armure, relates to the profile here. Now, I've got a little picture on your screen, but you'll get a better look later on. Basically, it got an armor buff. And lastly, we see another sizable increase, 25%, to the horsepower. If anyone's paying attention, they can see the 8 to 10 transition. I'm a little bit curious about this as well. I wonder if somebody from Wargaming simply likes even numbers and particularly likes 8 and 10. Now, as far as representing depression, it was a little bit difficult, but I settled on this picture. The top frame is, of course, -8 degrees. The bottom frame is -10. So hopefully you can eyeball that. I know I can, but if it's a problem, let me know in the comments and I'll try to come up with a better way of showing it. In regards to the armor, here are the numbers. You can see on the left, of course, 9.16. On the right, 9.17. Now, the upper glacis buff is pretty nice, the 170 to 185. What I love about this is it makes all of the tanks with 170 or even 180 pen now have to stretch a little bit to get that upper plate. The other cool thing that I note here is the rounded top edge of that lower glacis. Now, if you're reading, you'll see that I actually say this is great when their aim on your lower plate drifts up. Of course, this is true. What I want to get by that statement, though, is if you're rocking forward and backwards with the Lowe against your enemy, which pretty nice play for a heavy tank with a weak lower plate, there's a higher chance that you're going to be able to get them to drift up on that as you reverse. And instead of it being 120, it's now 225. Beautiful. Maybe you're curious what happened to the win rate. I know I was, so let's take a peek. 9.16 showed a 49.8% pub win rate. This is actually not too bad. It's 0.1% greater than the Foch 155, and it stacks up okay to other tier 8 heavies. The reason for that is pretty simple. It's got a lot of HP and it has an auto pen gun. So if you're not really great at tanks, super easy to use. Now look what happened after the buffs. Boom. 52.1 or 52.10. Let's take another peek. Remember, it was 49.8 and then 52.1. This is a huge shift. Anything winning more than 51% in pubs, generally pretty astronomical, so super dope on this shift. I had to include the SERB picture here because it seemed so appropriate. To recap, 9.17 was very kind to the Lowe. We noted that the win rate reflected it. Something to note here, and I put it on the page itself, is the Lowe is still not maybe a phenomenal tank. It's actually not that great at all. Why is it winning 52? Well, because most other tier 8 tanks aren't that great. So, is it good in tier? Yeah, that's nice. Is it good up tier? Not really. Suffers from the same problems. But for German tankers, they should be very, very excited that both the German tank got a buff, somewhat of a rarity, and it got a significant enough buff to get that 2.5 points almost win rate increase. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they roll some of this back because 52.10 is pretty massive. But the reality is, I don't know anyone complaining about the Lowe in pubs. I mean, I haven't heard it from a single person. And I've asked around a little bit because when I read the patch notes, I thought, this seems pretty good. Is it bothering anyone? Well, absolutely not. Nobody cares. So for low tanks drivers, you're probably safe, but don't try to go God mode. After all, you're not in IS3. Now, what's going to be in the description below, guys, is a link to my webpage that's going to have this in infographic form or slides that you can dig through or even screenshot or copy, whatever you want to do. And also, I've got quite a few resources on there right now for free, so you'll get a link there. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, ideas for future videos, or whatever it is, feel free to pop me an email. The address is right there on the screen. I hope you enjoyed. I also hope you start abusing that Lowe just a little bit in pubs. Happy tanking, guys. I'll see you in the next video.